So I just want to preface this video by saying one thing. I don't want to be the guy who only calls out the Young Turks. I really don't. But lately they've just been putting out a lot of vacuous garbage content, and it's just getting on my nerves. There really could have been an interesting conversation here about comedy and the hypocrisy of some comedians, but instead it's just, well, this.
Recently, Amy Schumer was targeted by a young entertainment reporter who was trying to make a funny joke, but unfortunately missed the mark and came off as a little misogynistic.
Are you telling me that Amy Schumer, a comedian, had a joke made at her expense? Will somebody stop the presses?
So, the man in question, or the guy in question, is a film critic by the name of Jackson Murphy. And apparently he was at an event for his website called Lights, Camera, Jackson. And he was talking to Amy Schumer at the Critics' Choice Awards. Well, he took this awesome picture. His father was there with him. Everything was great until the film critic tweeted something about him meeting Amy Schumer. He says, spent the night with Amy Schumer, certainly not the first guy to write that, hashtag Critics' Choice Awards.
Are you serious? This is the joke? This is the joke you decided to get up in arms about. Now, I find this really interesting, right? Because not too long ago, the Young Turks got upset over a joke on some show with Amy Poehler in it about R. Kelly peeing on people. I don't know. I did a whole video on it. You can check that out. Get the specifics of it some other time. I don't want to focus too much on it right now. But in that video, you can hear them make this argument.
It's okay when the joke is about someone who's in power. It's not okay when you're attacking people who have no power. You see what I'm saying?
Now, you heard Anna herself. It's okay as long as the person who's the subject of the joke is in power, but it's not okay if the subject of the joke is someone who's not in power. This is the concept that it's okay to punch up, but not okay to punch down. Now, back to the current story about Amy Schumer and the teenage movie critic. I'm going to show you a bunch of stuff, and you tell me which of the two is more in power than the other, okay? Let's get started. This is a nice little quiz. So here's this teenage movie critic, Lights, Camera, Jackson. He's got about 6,000 followers on Twitter. I guess he has an Emmy or something, and he's part of all these pointless guilds and shit. He's got a website that's been operating for 10 years, apparently. He's been a film critic since he was 7, I guess.
Now, before we rip into him, he's 17.
I don't know, but that's pretty much it. That's the extent of his reach. Now compare that to Amy Schumer, who has 3.33 million followers on Twitter, a pop culture icon, a movie star, a world-famous comedian with a net worth of around $10 million. Now, if you really believe in the whole punching down nonsense, it should seem pretty clear which one of them has more standing than the other. It's not even a contest, really. Not only that, but look at some of the jokes Amy Schumer tells herself.
But I've been really lucky. Like, my whole life, I found friends just like me. Like, at a young age, I found girls that were just like me. Like, we were all whores. You know? Just little drunks running around. I'm glad you guys laughed at that. That does not always work, I'll be honest with you. I mean, nothing works 100% of the time, right? Except Mexicans. I've noticed. That's the one. Boo, right? Boo, Mexicans. I hear ya. You guys are preaching to the choir.
Gangbang is rescheduled to right now. We are still doing it. It's back on. Gangbang on. Everybody, come fuck me. Fuck me, fuck me, fuck me, fuck me.
You're telling me millionaire white female comedian Amy Schumer making jokes about Mexicans and Hispanics isn't punching down? Come on, man. Come on. If you're gonna buy into something as stupid as the punching down nonsense, the least you can do is at least be consistent about it. Now, before you guys get on my case, right, I don't hate Amy Schumer. In fact, that gangbang skit I just showed you made a really interesting point about how many feminists actually are really hypocritical when it comes down to the whole objectification nonsense.
We're not pieces of meat. Don't you find it to be a little unfeminist? Do you only want to have sex with me because I'm not that into it? Sounds like you want to be objectified, don't you think?
It's actually really smart comedy despite its very lowbrow subject matter. I don't think Amy Schumer is a bad comedian. I remember she had to apologize for this joke here. I used to date Hispanic guys, but now I prefer consensual. I am literally Puerto Rican, and I thought that joke was hilarious the first time I heard it. This isn't about Amy Schumer's comedy. It's about being able to dish it out, but not being able to take it. Because right after this film critic made this very, very tame joke about Amy Schumer sleeping around, which in no way is perpetuated by Amy Schumer herself, right? She has the nerve to say this.
So Amy Schumer did respond to him, and she said, I get it, because I'm a whore. Glad I took a photo with you. Hi to your dad.
Come on, Amy Schumer, that's just fucking ridiculous. What's amazingly ironic about this whole thing is that in the last TYT video I did about TYT and the subject of comedians, Anna made the argument that comedians are the most sensitive people on the planet, and that was a jab at comedians.
I mean, comedians are definitely the most sensitive people that I've ever met in my entire life, and they don't like the criticism, they don't like to be talked down on, but oftentimes they talk down on other people.
But here you actually have one of the rare instances of a comedian genuinely being oversensitive, and Anna, of course, praises it. I really don't get how one person could be so inconsistent. I'm more impressed than anything else.
I don't fault her for calling him out because he's young and impressionable, and hopefully this situation will, like this entire interaction that happened online, I think it will be such a, maybe a traumatic memory for him.
Yes.
But it will.
Mr. Watney, I don't know how to give you this news, but I'm afraid your son has been struck by a speeding lawnmower on the Taconic State Parkway. He's missing all of his limbs. His ribs have been shattered into particles the size of atoms. He needs a machine to breathe and to consume food. He's also 100% blind and deaf. Needless to say, Mr. Watney, this is probably going to be a very traumatic memory for him. Yes. Taking that really well.